launching The Producer's Room, a streaming web series featuring the creators behind the hit songs of today's music industry. Songwriters, music producers, and artists discuss their creative process as well as examining current issues and technologies in today's rapidly changing music business. Your host is producer, songwriter, and educator Dave Tuff. Welcome to The Producer's Room.
All right, Justin Bush here, Producer's Room correspondent for the 2017 NAMM show. We're getting ready to go in there, check out some of the new gear, some of the new products and offerings. So come on, let's go check this out. All right, so we're here with Paul from Lynx Audio. He's here to talk to us about the new Aurora. I use the old Aurora. It's a great unit, a great converter, and we've got a new model here, so we're going to hear some more about it.
Great, thanks. Happy to be with you all. We're very excited to be at the show here, 2017. So the Aurora, the original Aurora is out for 11 years. It's sort of an industry standard. It did way better than we even imagined it would do. The reason people liked it so much, it's very reliable, it's future-proof, it's upgradable, you can add firmware, you can add expansion cards. A single rack space. There was no fan, so it's perfectly quiet. I'm sure you enjoy that with yours. You can have it next to you in the control room and so forth. And what we're known for in terms of audio performance is transparency. So what comes in is what comes out. We don't do any coloration. Our philosophy is that you chose front-end devices for their character. We don't want to change that and reinterpret it. So that continues on with the new Aurora in. However, we take it further. So all the things people like about the original Aurora sonically, it's just more of that with the new model. It's more transparent, wider stereo image, deeper, lower distortion numbers, et cetera, et cetera. People also really like the clocking. We have a technology called SynchroLock in the original Aurora. That's a way of when it's a clock slave, it references the crystal oscillator, which is more accurate than a PLL. So SynchroLock 2 does that more quickly than the original SynchroLock, but also in terms of clock generation, the Aurora is now a reference clock as far as its AES categorization, which means that it's the lowest amount of jitter and drift of any device that's available for clocking. So single rack space, upgradable. We're very, very excited. I think this product's going to do fantastically well for us.
All right, we're here with Todd from API. We're going to be talking about some new stuff that maybe you might not expect from API, actually.
Yeah, what we have here is we have the Transformer guitar pedals from API. We have the LX, which is this one, and we also have a GT. Basically the same. The difference is one has the EQ frequencies optimized for a bass and one for a guitar. What they do is they have a 3-band EQ, which are tone control, which you can switch in and out. They have a compressor, which is a simple reel. You know, you dial in more and more and more compressor, has an automatic makeup gain as well, so it's just a way to just get a character and a squash or sound. And then on top of all that, just with the API transformer and op amp in it, you have an input gain control and an output level control, so you can really affect the character of your guitar or bass that you're putting through it. You can, by just sort of changing that balance, you want to drive the input stage a little harder in our op amp, or if you want to just drive harder into that output transformer, you can do some real different coloration with the sound. And then of course we now have a complete hardwire bypass if you want to just get rid of clean just to move on to the next thing as well.
Excellent. All right, we're here with Jack from Sennheiser, here to talk to us about some of their new digital microphones.
The new D1 digital microphone is set up in the 2.4 gigahertz range, so we leave the UHF world. The idea behind this is a little bit different than the UHF in that when I turn this on, the receiver and transmitter want to just see each other. When you look at the landscape, it's just simply looking for the transmitter. Feature-wise, since these are married at the factory, in order to link these together, you simply turn the transmitter on. You'll see a red light. Green light means that these guys are communicating together, and that's all you have to do in order to set this up properly. Tremendous amount of capability, and that I can get as many as 12 channels operating together in this. Depends on, of course, your RF environment. But in the 2.4 world, this will automatically set up 2 clear channels for you and bounce between those open channels. In the highly unlikely event that you're getting any type of interference in the 2.4 world, it'll find an open channel for you. So it's a big deal.
And it finds that automatically, essentially?
It does do that indeed.
With Brad from Apogee to talk about some of their new interfaces. So Brad, why don't you tell us what you got here?
Yeah, so we have our Element series of Thunderbolt audio interfaces for Mac. And really what we've been known for is our sound quality. Element offers really our ensemble Thunderbolt level sound quality, which is really flagship level for us. It offers that and superior Thunderbolt connectivity, but in streamlined form factors that allow it to be offered at really compelling price points. I have to say that for our company, we make really premium products, but we're really very often not the cheapest option that's out there. But there's a good reason for it in the quality of the gear. But what we did here is, you'll notice there's no hardware controls or metering on the unit itself. We just have simply the connections on it. And really that's all an audio interface needs to be able to do, is give you a high quality input path for your input and as well as an output path. So it connects directly to the Mac. We have 3 different models here. We have an Element 24, Element 46, and Element 88. And those numbers just correspond to the number of analog inputs and outputs that you have on each of those devices. Now you might ask yourself, well, if I connect a microphone to it, if there's no knob on the front, how do I turn it up and down? How do I adjust my phantom power? How do I do all of these things? Well, there's actually more ways to control this series of interfaces than any of our other interfaces, because it kind of forced us to rethink about how you do this. The first way you can control an element is directly within Logic. We're the only company that has built-in integration with Logic Pro 10. So within each input channel strip, you can literally have access to the input gain, your phantom power within Logic. Every Logic owner has that built in for Apogee products. The second way you can control that is our Element Control software. Optional for people that really want to get in there deep, change the routing from within a separate window. But if you don't want to do that, we also have an iOS remote app. So you can, from across the room, change your input gain, which is nice if you're setting up drum microphones. You can change it on the fly like that. But if at the end of the day you would rather have a knob under your fingertips that you can adjust, we offer an optional hardware remote accessory, Apogee Control, that allows you to do that. So price points here, we have Element 24 starts at $595, the 46 at $895, and the 88 is $1,500. The Element Control, the Apogee Control remote is $195. Again, optional accessory for either, works with any of the 3 Element series. It's available, shipping worldwide now, and it's been tremendously popular, so, yeah.
Well, there you have it, Brad with Apogee. Definitely check out this new stuff. You know that they're top quality converters, so, and now you've got it at a great price point. All right, I'm here with Chris from Dangerous. He's here to talk to us about some new stuff going on. So what do you got for us, Chris?
Well, we've updated some of our gear. So the Liaison people might be familiar with, and the Baxi people might be familiar with, have brand new faceplates to match our newest gear. So same great sound, but new look. So anyone who's wondering if it's different, it's the same. It's just new look, match the rest of the gear. But for people not familiar, the 2-Bus Plus got updated about a year ago, and it's killing it. So it takes the analog summing that we do best, nice and clean, but adds color options. So we got transformer that you can engage, choose how much of it we want. We can engage a parallel limiter that we can parallel blend into the mix or on individual stems. And of course, one of the things to go with this really well is Converts 8 that we got, which is our standalone DAX. So summing and D-to-A, 2 things that Dangerous does great.
So for some of the students watching, or maybe for some of the in-the-box skeptics, tell us why you think people should be summing the analog.
You know what? Actually, instead of me, there's a great video of Ryan West that I would recommend looking up on YouTube. Okay. Look up Ryan West, Dangerous Music, and he talks about how he got into analog summing.
Okay.
You know, I can tell you about me and how you know, I found the better stereo width and the better spatial definition, so I could pay on something and kind of hear it better.
Right.
But Ryan and Wes is a great video, and I recommend them. In fact, we have a lot of great videos for students to check out about analog summing, why monitoring is really important, a good DAC is really important. I highly recommend them.
Well, there you have it, some of the new stuff from Dangerous. Thank you, Chris, very much for your time. All right, we're here with Amanda from Universal Audio. She's here to talk about their new interface, the Apollo Twin. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you. So our Apollo line of rack mount interfaces has taken the world by storm. They've been out for about 5 years, and since then they've been the hit of Grammy-making artists worldwide. Grammy-winning, Grammy-nominated, fantastic hit makers are using Apollo. Brad Paisley, Coldplay, the list goes on and on. Kendrick Lamar, it's an amazing thing. So the newest addition to our Apollo line is our Apollo Twin Mark II. The rack mount interfaces used in the studio, used Project Studios. This is great for people who are making music at home on their desktop, people who are on tour who just need a little I/O, and people in the professional studio as well. It's got great new conversion. Our original Twin had fantastic conversion and great audio quality, and this one's been improved. It also has great processing power. So the great thing about our Apollos is our plugins, you can use them in real time, not just in the mixing and mastering phase, but as well as while you're tracking. So you get no latency in your headphones, and it lets you have a really great recording experience. So with that, track in real time, you can do that with our built-in UAD Shark processors. We come in 3 flavors now, solo, duo, and quad. So 4 Shark chips is a quad, that's the new model. That gives you a lot of great plug-in processing power. We have Universal Audio plugins that run only on this hardware, and they have we have almost 100 of them now, so to pick from on our online store. And it comes with a dozen great plugins that you can start recording, making a record right out of the box. So compressors, delays, guitar amps, anything you need is right built in when you get the Twin, and you can get our additional flagship plugins at the UA online store. Some great new monitoring features. You can do monitoring the front panel. There's a lot of great control that wasn't in the original Apollo Twin. So we did that, and it has a built-in talkback mic. So you can talk to the talent in the other room through their headphones, which is a really great thing. Yeah, it's a great new product. People are really digging it. It's basically taking what users have requested and expanding upon it in a way that makes a lot of sense. The monitoring features especially make it a great addition to the rack mount units because you can plug them in together, keep those in your rack, and then use this on your desktop to control the volume and to do all the fun things that you would do in the software, but now you can get the good tactile thing going. So.
All right, we're back here with Todd. He's going to tell us about some new updates to the API 3124.
Yeah, brand new for us at the show here. We have the 3124V, which is the latest version. It's following on the tails of the 512V, which we debuted at the AES, which is just an update to our mic preamp to now include an output level control. So much people with their converters and stuff now. Back in the day when you didn't care and you drive the heck out of your tape, people want to be able to just dial that output back a little bit. Right. And in addition, we added a feature which changes the transformer tap on the output. If you need less level, you drop it from a 1 to 3 to a 1 to 1, so you get about 10 dB less level. Or similar to the transformer, you can use it to get less gain through your transformer, and then in that case you would get more gain out of the earlier stage. So again, it allows you to do a little bit different character, more transformer, less transformer, more of that op-amp gain.
Excellent. Well, that's Todd with API. Thank you very much for your time, Todd.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with Mikhail from Waves. He's here to talk to us about some of their new plugins. So
what we're going to talk about at this point is a product called NX. NX is a virtual plugin that allows you to create a space to mix in. So you can mix in stereo, you can mix in 5.1 surround or 7.1 surround, quad or ambisonic as well, and basically using a standard set of headphones. So the cool thing is, let's say you're on a tour bus, you're backstage at a gig, you're on an airplane, you want to work on a mix. This gives you a perfect room to start with to do your mix in stereo or get ready for your sound design, which pulls surround. The way it works over here, you basically have a head tracker that tracks where you are. You set your sweet spot here. It knows where the head is, and as I'm moving the head around, it'll move on the screen as well. So the beauty of it is you can use it as a plug-in within one of the programs like Logic or Pro Tools or Ableton Live, etc. Mac or PC, any format, AU, VST, AAX, etc. But also there's a host app for Mac or PC, so you could take Chrome, set on the couch, and be able to listen to a 5.1 Netflix movie in a standard set of headphones. Or there's also a free iOS and Android app, so you can download it, put it on your phone, plug your headphones in, and as you're walking down the street, instead of everything being the same mix everywhere you are, you're going to be able to hear the mix off axis the same way you would in a real studio. So a virtual studio mixing environment just within a plug-in right there in the box. And the best thing about it is it's very inexpensive. You can get the whole thing. The plug-in retails for about $50. With the tracker, right now there's some specials for around $75, $80. So under $100, you've got a virtual studio. You can mix anywhere you are on the planet. That easy, just with a set of headphones.
Excellent. Well, there you have it. Mikhail with Waves, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. All right, hi, we're here with David from Royer. We're going to talk about some of the microphones here, some of the, what I guess has now kind of become the new industry standard, at least, on guitar amplifiers with the 121, but I'm sure there's plenty of other applications. So maybe you could tell us some of the differences between the R series mics, and then we can come over here and talk about the SF series mics.
Yeah, certainly. Well, to start with, the R121 has been in production almost 20 years now, and it's become sort of a de facto standard for guitar amps, because it seems like with an R121 you can put it on a guitar amp and you'll end up with a recording that sounds very much like how the guitar sounds in the room, with very little fuss and bother. It's a case where everything just sort of falls into place without your having to defy a whole bunch of laws of physics. Now, the 121's a very good microphone in its own right, but one thing that anybody who's used ribbon microphones for any length of time will attest to is if you don't have an extremely quiet preamplifier and you're trying to record soft sounds, you go and crank up the gain and you'll bring up noise with the preamplifier. And to address that issue, we developed the R122. The R122 was originally brought to market 15 years ago, and it has long since proven itself to have a noise performance at least comparable to a good condenser mic, and it has all of the clean, sweet sound that ribbon microphones are associated with. Now, I've discussed the R series microphones at some length, and they've become sort of the rock stars of the Royer product line. And then the suit and black tie microphones in the Royer line are the SF series microphones. A dear friend of mine who passed away about 10 years ago was a gentleman by the name of Bob Speeden, and he developed a stereo ribbon microphone 30 years ago that was called the Speeden SF12 microphone. We've produced that microphone now for 18 years.
And so tell us about, I guess with either series of microphones, we hear about there's some classical uses, guitar amps, maybe drum overheads. What are some other uses that you're starting to see people do? Maybe even vocals, or are you seeing some?
Well, I think the short answer is that the only thing that I would not recommend using a ribbon microphone for is for recording a flyby of an F5 tornado.
Well, there you go. From the man himself, David Royer. Thank you very much for your time. All right, we're here with Joe from Avalon Industries, maker of some of the best preamps, and he's here to talk to us about some of their products right now.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Joe Vizzetti. I'm here with Avalon Design, also known as Avalon Industries, and we're here at the NAMM Show 2017. Starting off, we have our half-rack size modules consisting of our M5, our U5, and our V5. The M5 is a standalone mic pre. It's a half-rack size. You can rack two of them together to make something like this with the V5 underneath where you have two across, or you can rack one individually. It also has feet on it if you want to stick it on the desktop. It is using our Class A high voltage discrete circuitry. You'll find a similar preamp in our 2022, which we can talk about in a minute. This contains phantom power. It'll run B&K microphones, the 130 volt mics that they make, and has a high pass filter or low cut filter, as it's often referred to. Microphone preamp. This is our U5, probably known as one of the best DIs on the market, if not the best DI on the market. You'll see this everywhere as far as direct boxes. It consists of preamp with tone boost switching on it. So it has a filter of 6 different filter positions that are devised of resistor cut capacitance networks. This has mic level out. This has line level out. So depending on where you're interfacing into, whether you're going directly into the computer, whether you want to go into a console before you go to the computer, you can go out with that. This also has the unique ability to take the boost functions and the filter functions and send them out the through port. So if you're going in and then going out to an amplifier and you like the filter position you're getting on your bass or your guitar, you can run that to your amplifier as well. This has a built-in headphone amp. So if you want to play with yourself at night and not annoy your neighbors, you can do that as well. And this also has the ability to be a speaker load. So if you're playing a worship gig or something where you like the sound of your head, but it's too loud, you can plug into this, which will allow you to interface that into the system without annoying, again, the neighbors and everybody else you're working with. Lastly, in our half rack size, we have the V5. This is currently the latest offering we're doing as far as Avalon. We have new things in development. They will be out shortly, but we have our V5. It is our latest offering. Now, when we decided to do the V5, we initially started off as we were going to make a reamp box, because at the time, which was a couple years ago, reamping was a new thing that everybody wanted to do. I could come out of my computer and go into a cabinet of some sort, guitar or whatever, and then re-record it. So we set out to build a reamp box. By the time we were done, we had a reamp box that has a mic pre in it, that has a direct in it, so you can go direct with an instrument, and has a line amp into it. So you can run this as a line amplifier and go line in and line out. So coming from your DAW, you can go line into it, come out to wherever your source is. You can go line into this and go out at instrument level to go into a guitar cabinet, again, to mic it up. You can plug a microphone into this and go microphone in and be line level out to go into your computer as recording. And you can also do that with an instrument, whether it's keyboard, bass, etc. What's nice about this, aside from having all of those features, is we borrowed our filter circuit from our U5. So you'll notice when you're looking at this, you have 6 positions that are the exact same filters that you'll find in filter positions on the U5. We also added 4 more positions, 2 on the low end to do roll off, and 2 on the high end, which give a little high end boost to it. This is probably one of the coolest things you get your hands on right now. And we'd like to see more of it out there in the world. You've seen a lot of our other gear throughout the years in different studios, so it'd be great to see this as well. This is cool, and there's a lot of people who are starting to get hip to this. So it is on the horizon and everyone's radar. Following down, we have our model VT737 and VT747 SPs. These models have been around for well over 20 years. You'll find them everywhere. This combines our Class A circuitry with vacuum tube technology. The 737 we've had everywhere, studios, live shows in front of house racks. Following down from the 737, which is a complete channel strip, we have our 747, which is a stereo EQ with a 6-band EQ on the back end. You know, these, again, use a combination of our Class A circuitry and tubes. What's nice about the 747 in particular is we designed it where you could turn the tube path on and off. So aside from being an optical compressor, which this has an optical compressor, and this being a stereo optical compressor, this one you could turn the tube path on and off, where this one has the tube in every stage. Input stage, output stage, equalizer stage, and compression stage. Now again, aside from this being a compressor, we have a 6-band EQ on the back end. So if you want to just tailor your mix a little bit, if you're running this as a bus compressor, or if you're working with drums or whatever, you can tailor your mixes a little bit. We also have the ability to tailor the sidechain on this one. So if you find, and we've noticed this with other compressors, the kick drum's hitting too hard, so it triggers the compressor a little prematurely. You can tailor that out a bit as well to make it, again, more musical, more easy for what you're working with as far as mixes. And then following along the end here, we have our 2000 series, our 2022 mic preamp, consisting of a step gain input, much like you find on the M5, as well as an output attenuator that's plus or minus 3 dB. This preamp technology is the same preamp technology in the M5. Almost identical, but they're not identical. This has a balanced output, the M5 has an unbalanced output, but does have the ability to have an optional balanced transformer added to it. This has a Class A discrete, again, discrete circuitry, high voltage, high current output on it. Following down, we have our 2077 mastering EQ. Everything on this EQ has stepped controls. Everything on this EQ is adjustable. And that is currently our Avalon line. We are working on new products. They will be out shortly, and when that's ready, we're going to have press releases that will be really good for everybody.
Joe, thank you very much. That's Joe from Avalon Technologies. There you have it. All right, we're here with Johnny from Celemony. Probably very few products in this whole big NAMM scene have had as big of an influence as the sound that you hear on the radio as this one program right here, Melodyne. So they've got some new stuff for us this NAMM show. What do you guys got for us?
Okay, well, one of the new things, recently, of course, we launched Melodyne 4, and one of the new features that's really popular, and what we've been really known for lately, is that we have been very prideful about the polyphonic detection. Now, what the polyphonic does now is that you're able to take guitars and actually tune and manipulate chords, for example. So everyone knows us for being able to do vocals, but now what's really popular is not only to be able to really retune and manipulate chords inside of a guitar, piano, any polyphonic instruments, but now we have the ability to also, you see down here, the ability to manipulate the harmonics inside of the guitar as well. So now you see the chord is opened up. When we hit the space bar, now you see the ability to really manipulate all the harmonics. So what we can do now is we can actually detect, all right, and really manipulate the harmonics. Also, we have the parametric EQ here, all right, which is really cool. The cool thing about also the harmonic spectrum is that we also can comb through all the harmonics. So we can work through harmonics, as it relates to the odds. We can separate the even harmonics, and we can get very, very, very creative with them. So another really popular thing here is like the note assignment mode, where we can actually go in and really manipulate all the harmonics that we don't have access to. So, which is very, very cool as well. What's also really cool is that the ability now, I don't want to close that, you want to do that? Close that guy out there. All right, so what's also really cool in Melodyne 4 is that if you look at, for example, how like the lead track here, like the lead vocal, what happens is if you want to see and reference another track, like the guitar, if you hit the reference behind it, you now can see the reference track right behind it and be able to manipulate and tune the vocal based off that. So like if we keep the lead vocal highlighted and let's switch over to, let's say, the piano, then guess what? We can now tune the vocal based on what's going on the piano, or if we need the lead vocal to follow the piano or use it as a reference track, we can use it that way. So, pretty cool. Anything else?
No, that'll do it. So there you have new features, Melodyne 4, Johnny with Celemony. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. All right, now we're here with Derek from Celemony. He's going to tell us some more new features about Melodyne 4. We just talked about polyphonic detection with Johnny, so what else you guys got?
Cool. One thing that I've been really getting into with the new version So we all know about polyphonic detection of pitch. So it's going in and finding all 6 strings of a guitar and you can fix one. Now we're doing polyphonic detection of transients. So for instance, usually if you're trying to quantize, let's say a 2-track from the 1970s that wasn't done to a click. Usually when the 1 comes around, you might have a kick and a guitar and a bass and a vocal all land on the 1. So most programs will put the transient, whoever was rushing the most, that's where the transient's gonna go. So if you try and quantize, you're basically quantizing to the person that's rushing, and then the pocket's gone and you're hurting. Melodyne sees everything polyphonically, so it's gonna see the transients of the bass separate from the guitar, separate from the kick. It'll have 6 transients, and then it finds the average. So as you put it on the grid, you're waxing and waning with the vibe of the band. Like if everyone's behind the beat, stays behind the beat, but it massages it right into tempo. So that's been one of the cool things. Polyphonic transient detection is a whole new game for quantizing. And that's just one of the there's so many new things in it. Super cool.
Great, thank you very much for your time. Again, probably few programs out there have had more of an influence of what you're hearing out there on the radio than this one program, Melodyne. We've all used it, so thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Cheers.
Right, thanks a lot. All right, that's a wrap from the NAMM Show 2017. Be sure to check out the Producers Room online on YouTube. We've got a lot of great new episodes coming up. We've got a lot of great new coverage at NAMM, so check it out, the Producers Room.
You are watching The Producer's Room, a streaming web series featuring the creators behind the hit songs of today's music industry. Songwriters, music producers, and artists discuss their creative process as well as examining current issues and technologies in today's rapidly changing music business. Your host is producer, songwriter, and educator Dave Tuff.